Hello everybody, my name is Maria Rojas. The edition of this presentation was made by my sister Patricia Rojas and me. This presentation shows the results of previous work by the authors Marila Rivas and Carlos Aparicio, like the direct thesis named Save Cities Against Climate Change and the article called History of Floods, Extreme Rainfall and the Risk Atlas, the Victoria Durango case. Information on rainfall from the 18th century to the second decade of the 21st century in Victoria Durango, Mexico is analyzed through historical documentation that is compared to the meteorological data and the risk atlas of said city. Also, how this approach can be proposed as an analysis of methodology from other cities in northern Mexico. This presentation is called Integration of Historical Data from Floods, Extreme Rainfall, Droughts, and Risk Atlases for the Study of Climate Change in Cities of Northern Mexico, and the authors are Kelfide Marela Rivas Gomez and Carlos Estuardo Aparicio Moreno. There are opinions that deny that the global warming is of anthropogenic origin, attributing that it is a normal and consequent change experienced by the sun and the earth. This has delayed urgent action to curb the effects of climate emergency. The reality is that the position endorsed by different scientific communities, such as the Global Panel on Climate Change (IPCC), specifies that it is the direct or indirect human action that alters the natural cycles, and this, added to a natural variability in comparable periods of time, shows the alterations. Certainly, climate change has existed historically. An example of this is glaciations, but the time of occurrence are turning and the effects have increased to a large extent due to existing vulnerability, translate into physical exposure, social variability, little almost no resistance, and the lack of action for adaptation.
The reality is that we're facing a climate crisis or emergency. We must act against the magnitude of the phenomenon that is destroying environmental ecosystems, as well as the survival of humanity in the medium run. Planetary boundaries, according to the Stockholm Resilience Center, limit the safe operating space for humanity. 6 out of 9 transgressed limits are climate change, the integrity of the biosphere, biogeochemical cycles, land use change, and water. In 2022, they included new entities, such as pollution by plastic and other chemical substances of human origin.
Antonio Guterres, General Secretary of the UN, has insisted that the climate change report alerts us that we're facing a threat to the well-being of humanity and the health of the planet, and affirms that it is an atlas of human suffering and an intimate that points to a failed leadership on climate. It is the reason why we are here in this seminar to advocate for reconciliation between humans and nature. The entire planetary geography is being affected by these phenomena related to the climate emergency, being the case in the north of the Mexican Republic, where droughts and floods represent the main social natural threat. Next, we present the result of the analysis carried out the history of floods in Victoria Durango from the 18th century to 2016, to end with a proposal for replicability of the approach methodology in the third metropolis of Mexico, Monterrey. Studies on. The city of Victoria Durango is the capital of the state of Durango and the municipal seat. It is located at the western end of the so-called Guadiana Valley in the central part of the state and northwest of Mexico, linked to the main urban centers of the states of Tamaulipas, Nuevo León, Coahuila, and Sinaloa, through Federal Highway 40, which runs from east to west, joining the Gulf of Mexico with the Pacific Ocean. For methodology, on-site observation, topographic and land use analysis, statistical analysis of rainfall, survey of 542 homes, and interviews that were applied to some key actors in the city, analysis of historical information, a result of documentary sources, and interviews with historians combined with official sources. The physical geographic environment where the city is located corresponds to a large plateau at 1,890 meters above mean sea level in the geographic province of the Western Sierra Madre. It is bordered to the north and the northwest by the full trees of the Western Sierra Madre, and for hydrology, it belongs to the administrative region 3rd North Pacific. The daily precipitation probability model in the study area that best fit was the Gemen distribution model. Indicates that the cumulative daily precipitation of 80 mm has a return period of approximately 20 years. The precipitation on 90 mm has a return period of 50 years, and the 114 mm for 100 years. According to historical facts, the rainfall that has recorded since 1968 of 20 mm affects the development of the city's daily activities. From this perspective, physical exposure due to topography of less than 5%, lack of services, location of buildings in unsustainable areas, slope edges, or adjacent bodies of the water stand out. Rains for a time period of 100 years extend out from the historical population. About the flood of July 28, 1906, all the inhabitants of the city of Durango are dismayed by the catastrophe on Saturday night, caused by the strong flooding of the houses located on the banks of the Acequia Grande and in the vicinity of the San Vicente stream. The streets turned into lakes. We saw an enormous procession of men and women naked, far less wrapped in sheets, with water up to their waists, exhaling pitiful screams and panic. The water penetrated these houses and in some, it reached a height of more than a meter. On September 29 and 30 of 2016, the radio, print, television media, and social networks showed in different journalistic articles the havoc that the deterioration rains have caused in the capital city of Durango. The newspaper El Tiempo report rain for more than 9 hours leave 5 dead in Durango. The Durango State Observatory pointed out that Victoria Durango registered several rains that reached 101.2 millimeters. The perception of the phenomenon, thoughts and neighborhood inhabitants. Subject 173, unlike neighborhood. Me at 82 years old can tell you that every rainy season has problems. But I remember I rainfall as a child back in 1947. I live on Barca Street. Now in 2016 that I live here in Analco, on the del Rio, the water did not get in because I had protection at the door. The water reached 1 meter of height. In the applied surveys, 94% considered flooding as a problem. However, compared with the result of the citizen consultation of 2017 and 2018 on the priorities of the citizen proposals, the need for sewage and drainage appears in the 5th and 6th place, a priority behind streets, public safety, employment, public lighting, and public spaces respectively. On the other hand, droughts represent a disturbing phenomenon that has affected the municipality of Durango and its homonymous city. Low rainfall in the state places Durango among the 5 states with extreme drought in the Mexican Republic. In the 70% range, the surviving population chooses to agree or read when the impact on their quality of life is reflected in terms of an increase in food prices when it is a drought, and possible source of food and water in the future. This is confirmed through the observations made by the survey at the end of the instrument and which were collected by the interview. Here you can read more of the testimony of the people from Durango. Droughts are a problem not only for food security and supply of the vital liquid, but also for the quality of water for consumption. The city is supplied only through the Guayana Valley aquifer, which is overflowed and whose liquid contains the critical fluoride and arsenic contamination. Water poverty is a severe problem for the state, particularly for the capital city, and, as shown by the data represented in the graph, the majority of the population is not informed or is not considered as a problem. Physical exposure due to 1. Due to topographic slope, water from the Sierra Madre Occidental that flowed down the stream carrying not only water but also materials, which affects the houses that occupy its margins. 2. Some natural reservoirs and lowlands lying between low foothills and a floodplain with community characteristics are inhabited. 3. Water runoff do not have rain catchment works and cause damage. 4. Housing development fueled in depression or floodplains. 5. The existing infrastructure or drainage in the city is insufficient. 6. Also, garage clogs often cause the system to crash. 7. The deficient design of sidewalks, bridges, and uneven causes waterlogging on the road. In summary, there is physical vulnerability to hydrometeorological events related to return times of the stream rainfall. As a review of the flood of July 28, 1906 and of September 29 and 30, 2016, The causes of the difference and similarities between the extreme hydrometeorological events that have existed through history can be seen, such as phenomena related to the climate change. An example of this is the glaciation. The Risk Atlas. While exposing such validity through fragmented graphs of flooding areas and flood points, it does not synchronize historical facts or represent hazards in maps across the city. Vulnerability maps are not made either, so risk maps are not represented. Although the system of the Risk Atlas for Victoria Durango is a great advance, it does not provide information on the historical memory of disaster, damage, and losses. As demonstrated by the real flood of 2016, the path of the water along the Acequia Grande is comparable to the flood of 1906, whose channel to the east pipe under Dolores del Rio Boulevard, which is currently insufficient to evacuate the volumes of water that are generated in rainy seasons. The correct understanding of the different types of threats, natural, socio-natural, and anthropogenic origin will allow to adequate delineation of prevention programs and policies, risk mitigation as well as adaptation to climate change and the construction of resilience. Given that risk equals threat plus vulnerability and that the effects of climate change increase the recurrence of events, urgent institution planning is required for the execution of projects and social infrastructure to increase resilience. Risk and hazard atlases for municipalities are an instrument to support regulation and urban planning. They represent a great advance in the IDRM and the adaptation to climate change. However, they require incorporating a historical documentary approach into the methodology, such as the one used in these research, along with the modeling of the recurrence periods of hydrometeorological phenomena in cities like Monterrey in northeastern Mexico. The ultimate goal is to keep in the memory of the population and the danger represented by these adverse phenomena and their possible recurrence. It remains left to specify in these atlases of hazard and risks how to link them to the execution of proposals for priority projects with budgets and schedules. Every 6 years is updating is a federal mandate. Since 2018, the adjustment of the atlas for the municipality of Durango is pending, which constitutes an opportunity to marginalize specific projects and to include in the analysis the historical evidence of events. Not only extreme precipitation events with returns periods of 20, 50, and 100 years have caused flooding in the study area, but they can also be caused by accumulating rainfall of less than 80 millimeters. Therefore, the information from the city's rain gauge station on such events should be not the only criteria for the hydrological design of storm drainage projects. The atlases of natural hazards and risks of the municipalities need to incorporate a historical documentary approach into their methodology, along with the modeling of the recurrence period of hydrometeorological phenomena. The information obtained must be shared with society to keep the forest historical memory of these adverse phenomena and to carry out the construction of the required infrastructure. It is necessary to present evidence that allows the people from Durango to conceptualize the probability of exposure to floods because this can happen again, and in worse proportion since all types of vulnerability has increased in the city. Here you can scan the references if you like to. And thank you very much for your attention.